if you follow the money and wherever the power vacuum lies, you'll find the truth. That is how it works on both sides. Now, hopefully not always, but that is the reality of where we live. And again, that video is from over 45 years ago. How much has really changed? I would say what's changed is the exposure. And even though we were at this gala, as Jen likes to say, gala.
Okay, I had this argument
gay.
with my son, and he insists that it's gala, and I said I think it's both. And so I looked it up, and in fact, it is either or either. And that is just how it works. It is. One is more of an English and one is more of an American. And I just like when I write, I spell theater R-E. I just do.
I do that as well.
And I know it's pretentious, but I don't care. I also cross my fours.
Theater.
My fours and my sevens.
And I am sure the late Maggie Smith, who just passed away this weekend, probably appreciates it as well. There are those that are out there. You know, we've been showing them. You know, last week we showed you that Henry Winkler is also not on board with this shit. The problem is that it is trepidatious to walk this line. The idea that Netanyahu, who is a war criminal, and just this past week came to the United Nations with a controlled environment, mind you.
He just ordered a hit and told us ahead of time and told us, and we okayed it. He ordered a hit and he ordered a hit by dropping bombs on 3 high-rises that killed the entire family as well as many other families. So I want people to understand this, and I'm saying this so clearly, and I don't care because people hate me anyway, so I don't really care. When Iran retaliates by dropping a bomb, not just on Netanyahu's family, but on their entire living complex where they live, that will actually be, I want people to understand this. That's a proportionate response. That would be a proportionate response, a war crime for other reasons, but it would be a proportionate response. And I actually want Iran to retaliate for this crap. These people should not be being bullied and having their leaders assassinated. And we're just sitting there okaying this. I'm livid.
4. Israel bombed 4 separate countries this weekend. 4.
Just assassinating heads of other places. Like, this is insanity.
Hundreds of children are now dead in Lebanon.
So if they're so good and they can have such precision,
they have to defend themselves, Jen. Meanwhile,
when Iran retaliates, and by the way, it will happen. It will happen. And when they do, and they do something like level Haifa, level Tel Aviv, assassinate Netanyahu. And by the way, assassinating Netanyahu won't solve the problem.
No.
So that, you know, if that would solve the problem, yeah. But that doesn't solve the problem. But when that kind of stuff happens and they start assassinating various Israeli leaders, I will not condemn it. I will actually sit here and say, well, yeah, that's a proportionate response.
So I would say to one of our, listen, Metal's one of our favorite conservatives, but I must say, how is Iran the bad guys? I'm not saying they're good guys.
Wait a minute, but why not? What makes them bad?
Yeah.
Because we've been told that our whole lives. Let me tell you, I am so sick of hearing that.
Did you see the interview with Colonel Larry Wilkerson from
Please
last
watch it. The largest state sponsor supporter of terrorism is the United States.
By far. By far.
Second by Israel.
Correct.
That is who is state sponsors of terror. Iran has done nothing to us. Nothing. They have not come after us. They have not attacked us. Iran, if it wasn't for the grace of Iran, Israel would already be leveled. And the fact that the Iranians actually have brains and nuance and diplomacy, and they keep saying over and over and over again, we don't want war, lay off of Gaza. And Israel won't do it. So this is what is happening. And no, I do not, and it doesn't, and I honestly, from people that I have met who have gone to Iran, and I've known several people who have gone to Iran, they not only are they not the bad guys, but they are kind and warm, and they actually, what's interesting, and I've heard this from a few people, the people in Iran, and I mean like your regular people there, they like Americans.
Yeah.
They like Americans. They're friendly. They like Americans.
They certainly
don't
love
like,
our money.
They like Americans. They like our people. They don't like our government. See, here's the difference between places like Iran and places like our country, and not just Iran, but other countries, is that the people are bright enough to have nuance. So people in other countries are able to look at our country and say, we don't hate Americans. We don't like this government. We hate their leadership. We hate their politics. Americans look at those countries and say, we hate this country. You see the difference? And that's because, again, I could, of course, drag it into our education system and the fact that these countries raise their people so much smarter than we raise ours. But yeah, we're so friggin' ignorant. And no, Iran is not the bad guys. And show me what they've done to us.
Thank you, Donald. The only way Israel will change is if America changes.
And somebody please show me the evidence of how Iran is a threat. Other than Netanyahu constantly complaining for year and year and year and year that they're going to get the nuke, they're getting the nuke, they have weapons of mass destruction. He's been saying the same shit for years and years and years, and yet nothing has happened. So someone please tell me how Iran is a threat to us. I don't understand.
And I would use the best example that I always give, which is if you think women are subjugated in Iran, that is nothing compared to the way they're subjugated in Saudi Arabia. And yet somehow Saudi Arabia is our ally. No, they're our business partner.
They're a client.
That's it.
They're a client state.
Iran does business with China and Russia, and they don't do business with us.
And we don't like that.
And we don't like that.
But I will tell you this, and I am saying this now, and you people, if you do not watch media in other parts of the world, please start to watch media in other parts of the world, because you are not getting coverage here of things like BRICS. And we are dying empire. Okay.
Oh, yes.
And as soon as BRICS, which to me is happening faster and faster based on countries wanting to join BRICS. And why wouldn't they? I want to join BRICS. So if BRICS actually does, of course, absolutely. BRICS, all it's going to take, people, all it's going to take is for those countries to figure out a way to circumvent our economy and our dollar, and it's done.
Yes.
And if you don't think based on, and I am constantly forwarding him clips of education in other countries, like how kids are raised in other countries, our kids can't compete with them. They just can't. I can tell you that right now as a mom of a 24-year-old and an 18-year-old that have gone through the school system in this country. We cannot compete with the kids in those other countries.
Now, I will tell you, if BRICS comes to fruition and the US dollar is no longer the world's currency, and we love Steve Grumbine, but I will tell you, one of the things that will happen almost immediately, if the US dollar is no longer the world's reserve currency, we will go back to the gold standard. We'll have no choice. We are fucked.
I'm just like, and the fact that we don't cover that in this, our media doesn't cover BRICS and what's going on with that, because they don't want you to know, not only is it viable, it exists.